Hello and welcome to the Esports Club Pro Series Summer Edition review, where we take a look at all of the events of the tournament that have taken place so far and what exactly to expect going into the main event, going into the playoffs that will be starting from the 16th of July. Now already we've had two intense open qualifiers from which the top 8 teams of the South Asian region have made their way and secured a spot in the playoffs. We've got WontStopPeeking, MercenarieZ, Hunters LFO, Retrograde, Kira Esports, Team Phalanx, Team ClickBait, and DAMWON Mia. So we have got, long-standing giants of the region alongside newcomers. And now let's take a look at all of these teams individually to see what we can expect from them in the Pro Series. The previously known core of Unleashed Dragons now make an appearance in top tier South Asian competitive for Rainbow Six again in the summer edition of the Pro Series under the guise of DAMWON Mia. Reina, Stark, Invalid and Yala have now added Electric, Night Clover, also known as Kingslayer, and Royce to the mix of an aggressive stack that has quickly trumped over two different teams in the qualifiers, 5 randoms and random 5. And yes, those are two different team names, quite original. But for DWM, the thing is that in the second qualifier where they participated, they have lost only 2 rounds. So already they're looking to be a pretty formidable opponent. Now, another returnee to the zoo of South Asian Rainbow Six is the Sri Lankan roster ClickBait. They had a brief hiatus after the events of the 2021 South Asian Nationals, where they had qualified in the top 8 in both stages 2 and 3. Now, Terry and company instantly have qualified for the summer edition of the Pro Series. Now, the 7-man roster of ClickBait has remained quite the same since, the South Asian Nationals all the way back in 2021, with just 2 changes taking place. Luxia and Noxious are now making way for Mephisto and Slayer. A team that took everyone by surprise in Season 2 of the Esports Club Community Cup by clinching a 3rd place finish. WontStopPeeking have now made an appearance in the Pro Series, have already qualified with the same roster that will not stop peaking. WontStopPeeking's team is a culmination of players from few of the greatest South Asian teams out there. You have Buckinator from Monka S, Kuntal from Shiv W Esports, Desmond is present from Error, and you have Mojo, Mando and Cobra from Naughty Indians. I had to ask Kuntal about this, that with so many players from such different teams merging together in such little amount of time, yet making exceptional results both in the Community Cup and in the summer edition of the Pro Series, he essentially wants the players to focus on their coordination and their basics. The theory for WontStopPeeking is very, very simple. As long as they have all of their grounds covered, they not need to focus on, so much on scrimming, ranked matches, theory crafting and all of that. They just need to get the coordination down, and honestly, it's been working for their side. Now, moving on to teams with South Asian national points already in the bag, Team Phalanx have been a very promising and consistent team in the new South Asian Rainbow Six roadmap. They finished 3rd and 4th in the first edition of the Community Cup. They grabbed crucial South Asian national points in the spring edition of the Pro Series, and most recently, when we came with the Community Cup for the second time, they were in the top 8. Already now, they have qualified for the playoffs of the summer edition of the Pro Series. The only change this roster has made is the swapping of one of their players. Don Escobar left for Elmist, a player from North Star. Now, the only fact is that for the side of Team Phalanx, they haven't been able to showcase their true potential, their true skill just yet. Our next team, Retrograde, similar to Phalanx, have seemed like a dark horse in this race for the top, but their results differ quite from the fact that Retrograde have clutched 2 more South Asian national points than their counterparts and have already qualified for the summer edition of the Pro Series in the first qualifier by defeating no other than Kira Esports. Now, the roster of Retrograde, it's had its fair share of changes, led by Shrisha. Kid Riker and I Am Death vacated their spots and they've taken new additions in the form of Exter, Nexus and Hulky. Having such close encounters in the previous edition of the Pro Series, finishing top 3 has to be their utmost priority. Shrisha also mentioned that being a very dynamic team who prioritize a lot of fundamentals over set pieces or rigid strategies has its own set of challenges that they have to overcome, which are being worked on constantly. Now, let's talk about the big name teams, starting off with the team that finished in 3rd place in the previous edition of the Pro Series, Kira Esports. Since then, a couple of changes have been made to their roster. Mainly, Slayer has been joining in instead of Coffee, and Dark Lord replaces Eagle Eye in the core roster for Kira. And Kira Esports as a team, man, they've been at the top for so long now that any loss to them is going to be a major blow. And already we are seeing some reminiscence of that. In the first qualifier, losing out to Retrograde, and in the second qualifier, they did take the win against Gazelles, but it just wasn't what you expect from a team of their stature, even if it meant that finally they were able to qualify for the main event. Now, the immediate response from a viewer's perspective must be that the lack of Atharv has definitely had a bigger impact on the side of Kira Esports than they initially would have thought about. If that is indeed the case, then Kira should hope that he comes back as soon as possible to settle things at the camp. Otherwise, their form does not give the best of indications from their side and what the expectations are from their team. Next up, we have MercenarieZ. And MercenarieZ are a team that just are. They haven't made changes since the start of 2022 and haven't dropped in any form of the way. Their team remains the same as a stack of Hasib, Fatar, MI7, Taha, Ayan, and of course you have Ashrit as their final substitute and their coach. Their consistency with the roster, their playstyle, and the top 2 spot that they have in the Pro Series is certainly way more reliable than Ferrari's power unit in Formula 1. With an unexpected 2nd place finish to Hunters LFO in the spring edition of the Pro Series, MercenarieZ will definitely be looking to reconcile their South Asian national points as well as the prize money in the summer edition alongside their former glory. Now, speaking of Hunters LFO, what's left to talk about this team? Really, they just keep winning, man. Now, Hunters LFO have already defeated MercenarieZ in majority of the outings they've had against each other all the way back since 2021. Names such as Sandy, Rattler, Jittery, Sparko, and now the addition of Wen make the rosters look like monsters. We had asked the IGL of Hunters LFO, Jittery, about exactly what it is that Wen is such a great fit for the side of Hunters LFO, and he is very admirable of Wen, seeing how he's very new to the game and quite young, so definitely his gun skills are above average, not to mention that he is exactly what a team needs from a substitute, and how versatile he is, ready to play any operator under the sun. More so, Sandy especially has been pumping out world-class performances since the 2nd edition of the Community Cup, and it will be fascinating to watch him alongside the rest of Hunters LFO hop on that very form and demolish their opposition. And that was that. That was a quick recap of all that has occurred in the 1st and 2nd qualifiers of the summer edition of the Esports Club Rainbow Six Siege Pro Series. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and make sure you are following Esports Club on all our socials from the 16th of July right here on YouTube and on Loco as well. We'll be starting the double elimination playoff brackets where these teams, they'll be playing for a prize pool of $2,500 US. So make sure to tune in and support your favorite players. Till then, take care and bye-bye.